I love every bit of that. Maeve English, not only is she a great soccer player and had some success on the pitch, but a phenomenal interview. And I thought the way that you outlined it there about the drama and the energy that it was needed and the really, in order to run the table in a soccer tournament like that, it takes everything, all 11 plus on the soccer pitch to get it done, and that's exactly what ECU did.
Well, it was
especially when you play like all these overtime games and you go into the later minutes.
Double overtime, PKs, double overtime. I asked some of her teammates too throughout the week, and I was like, "What is it about this team?" And they're like, "Vibes. Like we have good vibes." I'm like, "All right, I'm all about."
That's what our show's all about.
We're
good
all
vibes.
about the good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I love good vibes. A lot of these teams that we're going to talk about coming up too want some good vibes as they head into trying to qualify for some bowl games.
They want the good vibes. But is it going to be a goodbye? That's the thing. Good vibes, goodbye. Whichever one it's going to be. Let's take a look at some of the 5-win teams that are on the verge. They are right on the edge of getting into the bowl eligibility conversation. 2 of which, East Carolina and North Texas, have the 5 wins. Whereas UTSA probably could have 5 if they didn't want to blow a 42-7 lead against Tulsa or whatever that game ended up being early in the campaign. They would be 5-4 as well, but they're 4-5, which is unfortunate for them. But at the same time, they're running out of time with Army lurking on the road at West Point, and then you've got North Texas in a rivalry game coming up on Friday, and Temple as your only games at home. Which one of these 3 teams do you feel like is in the best spot to get that 6th win?
I would say East Carolina right now. I think North Texas still just has a couple battles, especially with the way that UTSA has been playing as of late. So I'm taking East Carolina to get that 6th win.
I like that. And I think East Carolina has been playing better football.
Yeah, I agree.
Really, both of these teams, the other 2 teams have been as of late. They're just not being talked about nearly as much. Plus, you've got the Tulsa game, which you would think would be winnable for East Carolina on the road. They've got that tough one against Navy lurking in their final home game. That's tough. The one thing I will say about UTSA, though, is they have 2 home games remaining, and I mentioned that early in the show, 27-3 with Jeff Traylor. I think there's a good shot that UTSA finds their way bowling even after a very disappointing start to the season. Okay, what about some of these other teams that are in the mix, 4-win teams or 3-win teams? You've got South Florida, Charlotte, who has to win out against South Florida, UAB, Florida Atlantic. That is doable. Don't get me wrong, it's doable. And then you've got Tulsa that has a little bit of a tougher schedule because they have East Carolina, a high-flying FAU team, and then that South Florida bunch as well.
Yeah, I think out of these 3 teams, again, I'm looking at South Florida. I mean, they only need 2 more, and I think they're winnable games. I wouldn't count the other 2 out by any means, though. If you just both Charlotte and Tulsa have showed us that they can win football games, right? They have those late-game heroics. They've been able to win some, but I just think the way that their schedules look right now, I think the best possibility out of these 3 is definitely South Florida.
Well, and we talked about it earlier that Charlotte and South Florida playing each other this week, that ends up being essentially a bowl game play-in, especially for Charlotte, but it does put a lot of pressure. If South Florida cannot win this week, it puts a lot of pressure on the Bulls going up against Tulsa and Rice at the end of their stretch to try and work their way to that 6th win as well. So going bowling, it's not like Thanksgiving bowling with the family whenever you're done with your Thanksgiving turkeys. Yes, that's why they call it a turkey.
A turkey? Wait,
bowling.
You mean like bowling with a bowling ball, or like you have a turkey bowl like football game with your family members?
Yeah. You do both.
Okay, I do the football game.
You play the football game before lunch, and then after lunch you relax and you go bowling. Bowling alleys are open on Thanksgiving.
But are you talking about bowling, like going bowling and football going bowling? Or are you talking about like you go to a bowling alley on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's awesome.
You're messing with me right now.
I'm not. I will find a way to prove it to you.
I want a social media post on Thanksgiving of you bowling.
Oh, it won't be this year.
Because you're lying.
I work for a team that plays on Thanksgiving every year.
Forgot about that.
So
you don't go bowling on Thanksgiving.
The family tradition stays the family tradition regardless.
So the Youmans family tradition is to go bowling.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.